Hello everyone, TLSG here, back again with another daily lunch live stream. So today we are fresh off the brand new patch that shook up quite a few of the cards, quite a bit of the meta, but then there are still some staples that are in there. So while it changed the meta, a lot of things are still the same. So thank you everyone that has jumped in and was waiting for the stream to start. Q, Ice Knight, Dry, Jeremiah, Kieran, ZZB, Thiago, and Christy. Hey, how's it going everyone? I hope that your Wednesday has started off well. Hey, Harrison Wade. I hope that your Wednesday has started off well. We are a little bit, hey, Timothy and Rando. Yo, we live? Yes, we are live. And then Toby as well. Hey, how's it going? We are a little bit tired. Hey, Chubbs. A little bit tired today. Rye Guy, hey, the hype man himself is here live for us. So we are a little bit sleepy. I put in a late night last night, getting everything set up for the double video release. But hey, and then first off we get Soul Knight, we get Jeremiah. Hey TLSG, love the patch review video. Thank you so much, Friars. It is something a little bit outside of my comfort zone, and something I've wanted to do for a while. So all of the feedback has been pretty positive, and I think it's something that I do want to continue doing. So I'm glad that you enjoyed it. Hey Paul, or Anatar, how's it going? Love the videos, bro, especially the patch review. Thank you so much. I want to get, so a lot of the thought was kind of chopped up, and so I want to get to where it's less choppy. So there's a lot less like cut edits, but overall I think I like the idea behind it. So I think we're gonna stack our Sunspot and our Scorpion. And then yeah, we do have Thor feels great at 3. Thor feels really good at 3. But I found that I've drawn into a lot more. I've drawn into Mjolnir naturally a lot more times, and it feels almost bad because it almost wastes a draw that way. And then Luke's bar is the real new location. Yeah, I saw Luke's bar, which is absolutely crazy with like vulnerability. So like Scorpion or Thor's hammer, you can do a lot of really cool things. So I almost want to drop a Maximus to counteract the Adam Warlock here, but at the same time dropping Maximus is always a big commitment. I think we're going to against Soul Knight. He will draw a couple of extra cards. He'll probably get the full impact from Maximus, but that'll buff up our Ronan later. Ooh, and then he gets a morph, which does morph into Ronan. Luckily we're not going to have a lot of cards in our hand, and so it won't be an incredibly huge Ronan anyways. So I think we drop Angela and Wasp. We can just go ahead and play them on the board. Or do we hold Wasp for the final turn? No, I think we try to push Ronan down. We want him to have a lot of cards, but not all of his cards at the same time. I'm going to go ahead and do Angela and Wasp. And then, ooh, so he has a Mr. Negative. But he's not going to be able to draw the extra inverted card here after dropping the Angela and Wasp. And then Rando, before I updated, there was this sick new location called the Nexus. All power played here gets added. Wow. But after I updated, it's gone. So I haven't seen that one. That one sounds incredibly crazy. Hey, Addy, how's it going? And then DD Game, something I saw Ordinary Harry do was turn 5 Ronan, turn 6 Mystique and Max. That seems like a really, really strong finisher. I'm not running Mystique in this one just because Ronan's not our only win condition. But if I was really leaning into the Ronan play, I think that would absolutely be the route that you would want to go. Because that 6 energy turn 6 play is absolutely unbeaten. But I think we're going to go Ronan into the left. Oh, so he gets the high roll of the Jane Foster, but he only draws into 1 additional card. So it's a card he would have drawn into anyways, but we know that it was zeroed out. I would replace Wasp with Mystique once Raft is no longer featured. That would be a pretty good one as well. I was thinking something like Iceman, but something a little bit higher might be fine on the energy curve. And then Sammy, I got Mr. Negative last night. I was wondering what type of decks does he work with. I think he still works with most of the decks that he did before. I think Negative Serotonin is in a little bit tougher spot now, just because that deck list usually uses all of your spaces. And so I think even just a regular like invert deck, so something that runs your Ronan, Devil Dino, still a decent spot at 3 cost. You can always duplicate it with a Mystique. A lot of your really good inversion cards that turn out to be 0 cost, I think is where it's going to shine for right now. So I don't know if we want to do Iron Man in mid and just fully commit to that lane, or if we want to push it into the right. I think I'm going to put it into mid. Negative would still be meta. Yeah, I think you just have to get a little more creative with how you use him. And I think he becomes a little bit more high roll than he was before, rather than as consistent as he was. But I think overall, he's still very, very competitive. Oh, this is the final turn. Oh my gosh. I was thinking I had an extra turn. We are absolutely going to lose here. I don't know why I thought this was turn 5. But even if we did Iron Man in one of the other lanes, maybe this lane, had we pushed it into Titan to try and compete there, maybe we could have won. After that, yeah, we would have barely won, but that is all right. If we end our 7-game win streak, I'd want it to be to Jeremiah. Yeah, the triple Ronan is huge. So that like a regular Mr. Negative deck list is still really strong. The Rogue, Mystique, all really good cards. Quadruple, yeah, that's all right. Martin, lunchtime patch. Oh my god, have fun, TLSG. Thank you so much. I played it quite a bit last night, and I had a lot of fun. And so I'm excited to kind of keep playing and see what we can do, and see the different decks that we can come up with. 4 Ronins counting Rogue. Yeah, Jeremiah, that was a very good game. We had a play line, how to put Iron Man into the far right potentially. But for some reason, I thought I had an extra turn. But no. It's sorry to start the stream negative. No, you're absolutely fine. I would rather you take it. If we match up, I would rather us match up and you play it all the way out instead of either going easy or anything else. I would much rather it be that way. And then the peak looks nice. The peak seems like it's going to be really crazy. You're going to have to find a way to maybe protect your high power cards, because it's going to really reward greed. And so you're going to probably want to run some counter cards, either like a Cosmo, so that once you cap it out, they can't use a Shang-Chi, they can't use like an Enchantress. I think you're going to have to get a little creative with how you play around that location. So I think we are going to push to cap out the raft here, and the debris actually helps a little bit. We do have the Nightcrawler that will be able to move out, so we're not too worried about capping it out early. So I'm going to go ahead and throw Jessica Jones there. We can later move Nightcrawler out if we need a bigger power push. Let's go ahead and snap to try and regain some of the negativity that Jeremiah brought upon us. And see if we can climb back up out of the negative hole. I would hate to end 2 streams in a row as negative as we did yesterday. I got the peak already in some games. Really? Have you updated the game, Blask? Because that could be. I haven't seen it. The only one I've seen is Luke's bar, but it could be. It seems like it could be pretty strong. We have the hazmat. Negative stream, positive streamer. Yeah, absolutely. So turn 5, we could do a Ronan and a leader. We could duplicate our leader, and then we can always move Nightcrawler later. And then if they play into cloning vats, they have an additional hazmat that they're going to drop onto the board. So maybe I don't want to drop leader, just because it helps them more than it helps us. So I don't know that leader's the play here, because they may do a Spider Woman, maybe here, which would really make the raft location pretty tough. I haven't updated, and I got the peak too. Yeah, so for some reason it released in the unupdated version, and I think that was what the featured location was supposed to be today, but with the patch it came out to end up being the raft instead, and so I'm wondering if they're going to change it at some point. Yeah, they buffed Jessica Jones. She feels decently playable now. I don't think I go with the leader here. I expect like either a hazmat or something that hurts us. Yeah. So there's the hazmat, and there's the double debris, which finishes off the vault, but the Ronan will help make sure that we lock that one down. Now we just have to win one of these other two. And Jessica Jones is quite good. I've been running her lately. Yeah, so the 8 power 4 cost card with that added turn of flexibility, she feels like she's in a really good spot. Is the Nexus location on the new patch as well? So I haven't seen the Nexus or the peak. The only one that I've seen is Luke's bar, as far as a new location. So we move Nightcrawler over and do an Iron Man. We could also do a leader play. They don't have another hazmat. They do potentially have a Spider Woman play, but that's 5 costs, so they'd only have 1 additional card. Maximus, not Iron Man. And so after playing the extra card, they would even out, right? But Sunspot would get bigger from the Maximus play. So it should even out to about the same, which would be 14 power in the lane. But this would conserve us an extra 2 energy to allow our Sunspot to buff up just a little bit further. I am going to go ahead and drop the free leader into the cloning vats, just to try to push a little bit of extra power and protect from any kind of goblins or any kind of plays like that. We may end up starting the stream as a -16 stream. No, they just drop 1 card, so I don't think that's going to be the case here. They have the Odin, which re-triggers Hazmat, which is not going to be enough, right? No, that's not going to be enough, thankfully. We climb out of our negative hole already. If they extend the game, Maximus is worse. Because then it would, yeah. But, well, it ended up being the same, right? Except for the fact that they drew into extra cards. Yeah, I'll have to wait until I can update my game. I'm wondering why the patch didn't get pushed everywhere. Because every other patch it's been pushed globally at the same time, right? I was worried about the Hazmat or Spider Woman. It would have hurt Iron Man more. So had I put Iron Man mid and they did a Spider Woman, you're right, Jeremiah. The way that Spider Woman works, that impact is duplicated versus Iron Man. So I definitely think the Maximus was the play, maybe even if they extended the game. Where can I find this version of Marvel Snap? Roberto, I'm not for sure. I know that they had some server issues, so I know that I'm probably working pretty diligently on trying to get it updated. Rando, you said you had to force it from Google Play, so was that like uninstall and then reinstall? And so I am going to start by splitting our power into, I think weird, you can still play the older patch. Yeah, it is a little bit weird, because then you're playing against a lot more bots, and previously whenever the God mode bots were rampant, I didn't realize an update had been pushed, and I was playing, and I just kept playing against bot after bot, and just got absolutely destroyed, and it was the worst feeling. It was absolutely terrible. And so the fact that you can still do that, I'm wondering if that'll eventually be kind of depreciated. That way everyone's playing on a level playing field once something a little more competitive comes out. Some people just sideload. Yeah, I don't know if the sideload APK has been released yet or not, though. So the Rogue is a really low roll target for the Jubilee. And so I think off of that, I'm going to go ahead and snap. The middle location did get destroyed, so it doesn't matter if we have it capped out or not. I think what we'll do is play our Thor into Los Diablo space. We have Iron Man to lean on, so even if we do draw into Mjolnir naturally, we should be okay. I think that pushes a couple of our power. I think it spreads our power pretty decently, and then we can always shift over into New York on the last turn. In Google, yeah. And so I had to manually update mine in the Google Play Store, but I'm not sure if that's available everywhere. Can someone help me out? I can't sign into my account. I click on sign in with Google, but it's not working. So the Google account was working before. Are you running Wasp to counter Ronan decks? I'm running Wasp mainly because of the featured location on the updated patch of the raft, where whoever fills up the location first gets a free 6-cost card. But it is also a good counter to reduce the power from Ronan decks as well. So they do Wolfsbane. They have a lot more space available here. I think this is where I don't know. We have the Thor that's going to be able to grow over in that lane. I think we're going to play Iron Man mid, which dropping an ongoing card early does always seem a little bit risky, but they've already played their rogue, so I don't think we have to worry about them stealing that ability. But the last version is missing there. Try not opening the game for at least half an hour. And then since you're running Wasp and Thor, would Jane Foster be better than Iron Man? It might be. It might be to help pull those out of the deck. The way I was looking at it was Jane Foster kind of locks in at the 8 power presence. Iron Man could potentially push one of our lanes over. Ronan could potentially push or win a lane on his own. But I don't know. Jessica Jones might be the play instead of Iron Man. I just like how much power it enables you to push onto the board pretty easily. So I'm wondering if we do a switch, or if I think we just stay here. I think we stay here. Actually, no, we would be playing Jessica Jones this turn. So if they extend the game, that's fine. We just don't play anything into Los Diablos space. Otherwise, we start stacking our power in New York. I don't think this one is as strong of a game, but I do think with having mid locked down, the decent amount of power into the left would be okay. They didn't hit a Mr. Negative. They didn't hit any of their high rolls. So pushing that much power was going to be difficult for them. And then a lot of ongoing cards at the meta. Yeah, so ongoing cards are still very, very strong. So that'd be like Iron Man, Devil Dinos, a little bit harder to use, but I think it's definitely still usable. We have the Ronan, which is huge. I think Rogue and Enchantress are going to be really, really big if you can find a way to add them in as a counter. Do you recommend any of the Guardians of the Galaxy cards while the raft is the featured location? So you can use some of the lower cost ones as a way to kind of easily anticipate where they're going to play their cards. But I don't know. Overall, I don't know. I like the higher cost ones just for a late game board presence or a late game push. But into the raft, if you're going to cap it out, I would want to have a way to move cards out after the fact. So something like a Nightcrawler. That way you're not fully locked into that power level, because that becomes pretty easy for the opponent to counterplay. Is Daredevil coming to the collection log this month or next month? Sammy, it should be next month. It should be with the next season, so it should be pretty early on in next season. And so I think we start stacking our power in the left-hand lane. They have a Brood, so they may be running maybe a token deck, or they're playing Brood just for the peak flavor, or the raft flavor, not the peak, sorry. Why before it worked, but I got the new update and now I can't sign in? I'm not entirely sure, Bella. I know that they did have a few bumps with pushing out the latest patch, and so maybe it's something that they're gonna be resolving. I hope. I hope it's something that they end up being able to resolve pretty soon for you. And Umais, on the 22nd of my birthday, literally 3 hours away, where I live. On the 20. Oh, you're in 3 hours. It's going to be your birthday. Happy birthday, Umais. So I think we hold the Mjolnir here. I don't think we necessarily need to push the power this early. Next turn, we could do a Jessica Jones into Nova Roma if we need more power. We can always do it into Sewer System as a decent play as well. Hey Harry, how's it going? I'm doing well. I'm a little bit sleepy. I ended up staying up a lot later last night than I thought I was going to, recording the couple of videos. But overall, we're enjoying the patch and having a pretty good time. How are you doing today? Bella, if you leave it running for like 5 to 10 minutes, it should sign in. I think it's loading the assets, but it has no screen for it. So Bella, try out Jeremy's resolution. See if that helps. That sounds like maybe it would be exactly what you needed to fix it up. And then Gag. I know I have not updated my game yet because I'm not in the invitation list. If anyone here has the link, please share it with me. So I'm not sure if the sideload APK has been brought up just yet. We're chipping away at some cubes slowly but surely. We started off with a massive -8, and we're slowly climbing from here. We'll try and see how many we can get up to before the video ends. Harry, you didn't sleep, right? But so much thanks for sharing the patch video. But you need your rest. So I slept for maybe 4 hours. So I did get a little rest. It just came in like fragments, and so I did rest a little bit, but I definitely need a little bit, a few more hours. A nap would be greatly appreciated. But no, I did want to push out a couple of the videos, and so it's something that I absolutely wanted to do, and so I think it worked out well for me, or I don't know. I don't have any, I guess, regrets about it. I know that it's just one day of your sleep schedule, but I would take being tired for one day to be able to get like that early access into the patch and get the experience, the hands-on experience with it. So hopefully they get some of these kinks worked out before launch. Yeah, Rando, I hope so. So we pull Spectrum as our free card. Nicholas, I would hold the Wasp. I was just using it to cap out the Raft to see what kind of 6-cost card we got for free. Otherwise, I would absolutely hold it until probably the end of the game so that you can use it a little more strategically. So with Kingpin, I think I'm going to play Jessica Jones into the Crimson Cosmos. We have to potentially anticipate like an arrow on either 5 or 6 to try to destroy some of our cards with Kingpin. But with the way that this is laying out, we might be able to cap out the Hellfire Club, and then they wouldn't be able to move anything over. And so they use Rescue, so they'll likely follow up with a card here. I think we go ahead and play our Ronan. We can play Ronan, we hold it, we do Spectrum next turn. Magneto would kill Jessica Jones. Yeah, but if they end up following up here, then I think she's going to be beaten anyways. Because we won't be able to fully cap it out. We'll be able to get close, we'll be able to have 3 cards that can only move 1. But I think we might be okay. That's a cool rescue variant. Yeah. That's one of the cooler rescue variants that I've seen. And so I'm glad that some of these cards that had really cool variants are starting to find a place in the game and in the meta. Jane, can you greet my fiance Frederick? My fiance Frederick, who's watching you currently. He's a fan. Hey Jane, and hey Frederick. I hope that you're having a great day, and thank you for watching and being here for the lunch live stream and being a fan. I appreciate it so much. So they moved the card over. That puts us in a tricky spot. So they may do a Magneto play, which would kill both of these. So would this be enough power? Actually, it would only destroy one, and it's going to pull the one that we played first. So it would end up pulling Jessica Jones. I think we're okay, because it should pull. I think that's the order of operations. I think it pulls in the order they were played. At least most of the other movement cards do. And if that's the case, Jessica Jones gets pulled, gets destroyed, that's okay. Angela, Iron Man, Spectrum. So if we do Maximus and Ronan stays there, Ronan's going to get buffed up and would actually be able to win us mid. I think the Iron Man play would push a little bit more power because he would get bonus from the Spectrum. But I think if we are relying on Ronan to stay mid, I think this enables us to win with the draw from Maximus. Let's see. Oh, no Magneto? Interesting. Not the play I was expecting. Not even close to the play I was expecting. So the Killmonger destroys the lane that he has the Killmonger in. That's okay. And then Polaris pulls our Angela over. So we still have enough power in Hellfire Club and the Crimson Cosmos. That was a lot closer than I thought it would be. We were able to pull it out. But I wasn't anticipating like a pull over to the right-hand side. The Killmonger and Polaris was kind of a nice little flavor, clearing the spot from the Sunspot to be able to free up room to pull a card. I think the Polaris was just a little bit too little power to be able to capitalize on it. And then Mad Cookie, hey, I'm a new player, just joined the game 3 days ago. I think you have the best Snap-related content on YouTube. Very nice videos and no clickbait. I've done a couple of clickbait titles recently, which I do feel a little bit bad every time I do a clickbait title. So I did something that was like, is this the negative serotonin replacement? But I don't think I do anything like extreme where you get disappointed whenever you click into it. So thank you so much for one, being a new player, and welcome to Marvel Snap. I hope that you enjoy the game, and then thank you for checking out the video and enjoying the content. Hey Bings, how's it going? The Ronan stonks are through the roof. They are absolutely through the roof. Ronan is getting +3 for every single card that he pulls in. He is huge. He is absolutely massive. If you can, even if you do something like a Ronan and then the Mystique and Maximus on turn 6, that's a massive play, and it's really hard to compete with that much power. He's usually between like 15 and 21 power at the end of the game, and it is ridiculous. For a 5-cost card, his potential is so great. Clickbait makes the world go round. it does, but as long as it's not incredibly misleading, that's where I feel like people get upset. As if it's a clickbait title and they're like, oh no, I wasted my time. Then you start getting a little bit of frustration. But otherwise, I think a little bit of clickbait is okay. Is this a zoo style deck? This is not quite zoo, but not quite like a slow playing deck either. It is more of a like mid-range deck. It is aggro, so it pushes a lot of low-cost cards, but at the same time, it has big powerhouse finishers to come in and swing the game over. It was only 256 triggers, and the Exodia combo, I think, is something that I wanna look at a little bit more now. So now that we can trigger it more reliably by playing Onslaught after your Wong, I think it enables a lot more freedom to make that a little bit more consistent. Good to catch the stream. Hey Tables, how's it going? Or Tables? Thank you for jumping in and joining us. I hope that you're having a great day so far. I don't know if we moved Nightcrawler yet or not. I think we hold for one turn. That way they kind of get lulled into a false sense of security that we only have one card. Next turn we can cap out the raft if it looks like we may need to. Okay, the age-old question: Messi or Ronaldo? Is that towards me, Addy? Because I don't have a good answer for it. I think there are strengths and weak. I think there are strengths to each. So I don't have one that I root for heavily. Or at least enough to say that like outright one or the other. Tables, okay. I thought with the second B it might be Tables instead. But either way, I'm glad that you're here checking out the stream, and I hope you're having a great day so far. time to cap the raft. Yeah, I think so. I think the power potential that you can get from the raft location is huge. I think we gave them a little bit of security, and they may throw a couple of other low-cost cards there, and then we end up capping it out this turn, and we capitalize on it instead. Oh, nope, they don't throw anything into the raft. So we get an Infinite, which is actually pretty big. We do have to skip turn 5 to enable it. That's actually okay. So they pulled our Nightcrawler over into Fisk Tower, which I am absolutely fine with. That frees up a space in the raft. We can skip turn 5 so that we can drop Infinite onto the board on 6, and we have the flexibility to like finish capping out this lane with like a Ronan. Okay, guys, yeah, I see the snaps. I definitely think that is a snappable moment if we ever had one. And then for anyone that is a channel member, we do have a couple of new emotes in the channel members as well. We have a couple of our doggos, and then we have Pilk's favorite, Keku, the emote as well. If you don't mind me asking, I've seen your free-to-play journey playlist. How long does it take to get the first 2 pulls complete? So it took me about maybe 3.5 to 4 weeks, Mad Cookie, to finish out the pool 2 and start breaking into pool 3. So it's not too terribly long. I think overall it's definitely doable. Hi TLSG, is this the first stream with over 100 concurrent viewers? It's not the first one, but it's the first one with a sustained over 100 concurrent viewers. I wasn't gonna say anything because as soon as I say something, I feel like it's just gonna like plummet. But yeah, it is one of the first one with a sustained over 100 concurrent. And so it is a huge milestone for the channel. So thank you guys for being here and being a part of this. Would Korg be a good sub for Wasp to add 2 cards to the deck for round 7 games? I do think Korg would be decent, maybe even over Iceman. Feel free to toot your own horn. I'm not good at like, I don't know, self-building myself up. I'm usually pretty humble. And I know that a lot of like my channel and the success from the growth of the channel has come from a lot of like viewer suggestions and just you guys being here time after time. And so I don't, it's definitely not all me. A lot of it goes to you guys as well. So Rando, I really like the emojis. You can't see them currently on the current setup, but once we move into a Steam client, I think it's going to be something that's a lot more visually appealing to the viewers, and it adds to that like player-to-player interaction. So I think we play the Infinite into Baxter Building. I think that's going to be more beneficial for us. I don't think we stack both Infinite and Ronan. But I do think we push over into the left with our Infinite. That's going to be a little bit more powered typically than Ronan. Oh my gosh, they stack all of their cards. So we might not come over their power here because they had the Killmonger? No, okay, yeah, we're fine. We're absolutely fine. They didn't have a great last turn play. So it looks like they were maybe running a version of a negative Sarah. I'm not really sure. But we were able to come out over it. Had they had a really good, strong finisher into Baxter Building, maybe they could have capitalized, because we're somewhat weak with a Sarah play. But we are a +9 after Jeremiah did his best to start us off negative. That 8 cube loss immediately after starting the stream was detrimental. And then plus 100 viewers. Thanks everyone who jumped in. Yeah, thank you guys for being here and just checking out the stream, checking out the content, and just being here, being viewers. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. I was curious if you could get all pull 2 cards before global, so you can abuse new players with incomplete collections. I feel a bit bad, but free wins are free wins. Yeah, I think you could reasonably get at least close to the end of pool 2 by that point, Mad Cookie. And depending on how matchmaking works, you might not even match up with new players, because right now it's currently based on collection log quite a bit. So you may match against a lot of kind of mid-range pool 2 players as well. So I don't know that you would necessarily like completely abuse the new players, but I do think pushing for a pool 2 complete collection by launch is definitely doable. Yeah, and then matchmaking is based on pool levels. It's a bit of both, a bit of rank, RNG, and then collection log as well. If you really want free wins, just roll back your client to the previous update, and then play all bots. Yeah, it's strange to me that you can play against bots even after a patch has gone live, especially one that's so big. And maybe eventually that kind of changes, but at least for now, if you don't update, you can play against a lot of bots and get some free wins. And Haim, I don't know that they're not all super bots this season, or at least not the ones I've ran into. Sometimes you get the super bots that are going to counter your play perfectly, but otherwise it feels like they're in an okay spot for the most part. Get those likes up, everyone. Thank you, Faith, for the call out. Yeah, if you are here and you like the stream, make sure to give it a like. It helps it reach a wider audience. It helps the YouTube algorithm get the content out to more viewers so that they can enjoy as well. Hey, Jesus Plays, how's it going? I hope you're having a great day so far. Hey, Warren Shaw, the Odinson. I mean, I think currently the bots are solely in place to keep the games coming. I will say that some of the bots are not broken, but the broken bots, now that it's not every single time you see a bot they're broken, it's always a surprise, and it can come out absolutely massive and just it causes so much. It can cause a lot of it can cause a lot of like surprise 8 cube losses. So here, I don't know what our best play is. We could do Scorpion, which actually hits quite a few of the cards if they don't drop it on the board. We could also do a Sunspot and let him start buffing up. We don't have Ronan as that huge late game power push. I want to avoid playing into the Jessica Jones lane so she can get the +4. I think we split our power and then see where they drop cards. There are quite a few decks you can just wreck bots with and farm cubes. Yeah, especially at particular collection log levels. There are definitely abusable deck lists. So like mid pool 2, you can definitely do any kind of like Infinite deck that will trick them into snapping on 5, and then all of a sudden you have a huge power push on 6, and then you get a massive amount of cubes. So I think we do Iron Man, Sunspot, and Mjolnir. Is that going to be more than Maximus? So Maximus, Sunspot, and Mjolnir would be 7. Would be 10 power. It'd be a 10 power push. No, this one should be more, especially with Xandar being +1. This should offer us quite a bit more. Mjolnir on the left to buff up. Yep, to buff up the Angela. You're right. Do you snap on start versus bots? In 93K, I don't. I think I have PTSD. I'm very, very afraid of bots. I feel like if I snap early because I feel confident against the bot, all of a sudden they turn into that like ultimate god mode bot, and that we're not able to like win at that point. And I think that's just being like reading into it a little bit too much. I don't think it actually changes the outcome, but I usually try to wait to snap until the bot snaps if I feel confident. Some of the bots I've encountered run Daredevil, but they already have Clairvoyance for all 6 rounds. Yeah, I think the Daredevil bots are probably like the funniest bot to see, because they can see your plays already, so the Daredevil doesn't really do much. But it lets other players see it in action, so maybe if they haven't seen it on the leaderboards or on the ladder just yet. In the Pilk, I've updated my Hazmat Junk deck. Added Mordo instead of Scorpion, and then Blue Marvel instead of Doc Ock. Yeah, I think the Blue Marvel instead of Doc Ock is a good fit. That's going to give you a good wide board presence. He allows me to play Hazmat and not get the downside. Yeah, and you're not going to get those low roll games where you just pull into like their entire hand. So I think the Blue Marvel would fit pretty well into the junk deck list. It's something I do want to check out. Do you have Spider-Woman in that list? I feel like at 5 she becomes a little bit clunkier to use versus when she was at 4. She's definitely stronger, but I feel like it's a little bit clunkier to use now. And so here I'm gonna do Scorpion first. We're not gonna do Baron Mordo just yet. I think the guaranteed positive impact from Scorpion is going to be a little bit better than the potential impact from Baron Mordo. And since we don't have Ronan in hand, I don't know if we need them to have additional cards just yet. What's the purpose of Wasp in this deck? So right now, with the updated patch, the Raft is the featured location. And so previously Wasp was in this list because we ran Jane Foster, and Jane Foster could pull her out of the list. But with this one, it's just to help us cap out the raft early so that we can get some big, like game-changing potential cards with a free 6 cost. Thor's not yet available in Pool 3. They delayed him an entire season. No, Warren, I pulled him from Pool 3 on my free-to-play account. So he's there. They said he wasn't. They said it was delayed. But that next day, I ended up pulling him. He's definitely there. I just don't know that they've announced it or like really advertised it. And then Pilk, you said, I do and I don't like her at 5. I'm thinking of removing her. Yeah, she's definitely tougher to use at 5 cost. You can't combo her as well. And then Mordo has been wrecking my morning. I'm still uncertain on Mordo. Because his presence can be absolutely massive, but it's kind of like the Iceman. You just have to kind of believe that it's there, because maybe it hits a good target for them. Maybe it doesn't hit something that they're interested in at all. So you just kind of have to have faith that it's actually going to be beneficial. And so Jessica Jones, I think we play into the embassy. We don't want to really push for anything into the left lane just yet, because it may end up getting destroyed if they cap that one out. It looks like they're running a like a Spectrum ongoing buff deck, and so we need to look out for. Yeah, Iron Man is huge. Our Wasp, our 0-cost Wasp is huge as well at 5 power. We have an absolutely massive late game power push. We could always stack some of those cards like an Angela late game here to be pretty big. So they drop Bishop on the left-hand side, so it's a little bit surprising to me. I was thinking they were going all ongoing, but I guess they had a Rocket. I think we snap. I think we have enough low-cost cards that we're going to be able to flood most of those onto the board. So a 7-power Baron Mordo, 5-power Wasp, the 3-power Angela that we're going to be able to cap out and buff up further. I think we have a pretty good shot here. I want to start with I almost want to start with Iron Man in mid. I think that's going to be a pretty easy lane. They're not going to be able to cap it out unless they have something that goes wide, like a Dr. Doom. So maybe we play on the left-hand side. You think he's running bounce? The Ebony Maw in bounce feels a bit weird. It doesn't feel like it fits too well. Usually I only see Ebony Maw in ongoing buff decks or like a wide deck, something that is pushing power out, but maybe it's some kind of hybrid that they're testing out. Is Baron Mordo good against Mr. Negative decks? Yeah, and you can always of course hit the low roll, but I think for the most part it is. I think Baron Mordo is going to be big against like some of the like really greedy like combo decks. You'll be able to force them and potentially break their combos. Yeah, so we have a 5-power Wasp that's going to come in. It's going to all be duplicated here. I think the 7-power Maximus over into the Embassy should be enough. I honestly have no idea what kind of deck archetype they're running, other than just like a buff and like combo pieces deck. So I think Baron Mordo is better than Magic, or it is better than Maximus in case of Magic. Oh, here. I think you may be right, Warren. In this particular scenario, so yeah, if they so they have an Onslaught, which is strained. That's a huge Onslaught at 10 power, but I think with the Iron Man we'll be able to come up over it. What a weird deck. The 5-power Wasp coming in absolutely massive. I think Baron Mordo would have been a little bit safer just in case they extended the game. It would be a little bit lower power push, but we could have always shifted maybe our Wasp over. Oh no, they're the same power actually. Yeah, yep. Because they were the same power, you were right. Baron Mordo was a much safer play. A much safer play because it had the same power push. It wouldn't impact our overall board presence. And then if they did extend the game, it forces them that card to be 6 cost. Yeah. And so let's add up the cubes. We're now 14. And so we're just slowly chipping away. So this deck, whenever I played it last night, we ended up going 7-0. Today, I think we've lost 1 to Jeremiah, but otherwise it's been pretty consistent. So the aggro elements help you really have that flexibility for where you want to push your power. And then like the in-game Ronan Iron Man is always so massive at swinging a game. Do you think Baron Mordo is viable in decks without Ronan? It could be, but I don't know. It really depends on what you're seeing in the meta. So if you're seeing a lot of like ramp decks, then Baron Mordo is not going to really do a whole lot of good for you. But it could always hit a high priority target. So I think time will tell in testing, but I don't know that it's one that could be easily be assessed or answered. Might run Onslaught in my junk deck. Keku, Beastmaster, Blue Marvel on 5 into Onslaught. Nobody would expect it. And that would be a +2 across the board, which would be a pretty big push. Hey me, how's it going? And so here I think I don't know if we do the Baron Mordo, if we just go with a simple Angela. I think I am gonna go with Baron Mordo this turn. We'll do it into the unknown location. New York is gonna allow us to move cards over, and so either this one becomes New York as well, or it becomes this one and then we shift him out if it's a negative location. And so that's going to force them to draw into a 6-cost card, and so if they're running a low to the ground deck, maybe that'll have some decent impact. I do want to save Angela just in case we want to drop all of our high power cards or low cost cards on turn 6. We can flood the board, we can buff her up, and it's going to be a surprising amount of power to push. Beastmaster is a Hearthstone card. Yeah, I think the sleepiness took over, and it reverted me back into Hearthstone days. Or Hearthstone days. I always mispronounce it. So with the Maximus here, do they get much upside from... Yeah. Since they've played several cards, they would get a decent amount of upside. Maybe we just play Angela and our Rock. We'll be able to move either the Rock or Angela into New York on turn 6 to buff her up further. I think that's better than our Maximus play. I don't really want to give them too many resources until it benefits us. Beastmaster is a hair metal Conan the Barbarian. Yeah, there's several iterations of Beastmaster, and I don't know why BM triggered that in me. Let's go with the Jessica Jones into New York. We're gonna skip playing there next turn. We can always kind of adjust those power points afterwards. The Professor X play. I think we're weak to a Professor X play just about anywhere though. We can't drop 2 cards, so we're weak to a Professor X here or here. And it looks like they're all 2-cost cards currently, so this could be a Cerebro deck. It could be a Cerebro 2 deck list. And then Xandar just buffed them up by 1. And if so, they probably changed this location at some point. So I'm going to go with Jessica Jones into New York. I don't know that there's a better way to kind of cover our spread against a potential Professor X. Okay, so it is a Cerebro 2 deck. They have the Mr. Sinister that comes out, and then the Uwadu. And so now they have in their hand, they have the 6-cost card that we forced them to draw with Baron Mordo, and then a couple of other resources as well. So coming into turn 5, do we want to... No, we want to leave Jessica Jones alone. We could do Scorpion and Baron Mordo onto the right-hand side. The Scorpion offers quite a bit of disruption if they do decide to drop any other 2-cost cards, but I think at this point they kind of have their board presence pushed onto the board. What the heck does Uwadu do? I've never seen that before. So he's a decently kind of like tech card, especially for featured locations. So once this is in your hand, you can see the unrevealed locations. So if you draw him right off the bat, you can see all 3 locations and what they're going to be before playing into them. And so if it is like the raft, you can move or place cards in that lane kind of preemptively. So I think we're going to go with the Scorpion Nightcrawler. We can always move all of our cards around. We can do a complete shift on the final turn, as long as they don't lock in something major here. The Ultron change screwed me in my Hela deck last night. I didn't realize he fills all locations, not just adjacent. Ultron in a Hela, drawing or playing Ultron in Hela definitely could be detrimental, especially depending on what order he gets resummoned in. He could flood your board with 1-cost cards. I think it's a cool change, especially if you're running him in a like an actual like token buff deck, so like a patron deck or Patriot deck. But overall, I think he still feels a little bit underwhelming at 6 cost, because then that's usually the turn where you want to go really heavy into like an Onslaught or your Patriot and Mystique combo. And so at 6 cost, he still feels a little bit tough to use in like a vanilla deck. And so they Spider-Man on the left, so it's not a Cerebro. Are they running a Cerebro 2 without updating it for the Cerebro 3 that came out? Or for the buff of Spider-Man? So Spider-Man used to be in a Cerebro 2. And it got +1 power. Do we think they jumped in without looking at the potential changes to the cards? Yeah, it definitely looks like a Cerebro 2, but that throws me up. And then Ralph, yeah, positive stream, let's go. Yeah, we are very positive so far. A little bit confused about the Spider-Man location, especially since we can still like move cards over. A little bit confused. They don't know. I mean they could buff up their cards in this lane, right? It would buff off of the Xandar location. So maybe we do like a Baron Mordo shift, and then we do something. They're not gonna have a whole lot of cards left. So maybe we do something like that. One of the cards they have is 6 cost. Donate the cubes. Give that poor man a cube. So are you saying I should retreat and give him the cube he deserves? Watch him play Cerebro buffing 1 card. He might. Okay, so the Spider-Man moves over into New York. So if Cerebro goes into the right, it's going to buff Yellow Jacket, Daredevil, and Spider-Man. So he made the... Oh, wait, no. It didn't buff Spider-Man at all. Okay, there it goes. That's not the way you want to lose your one of your first games from the stream. So we... Oh no! So the Spider-Man move over was great. The Ronan play would have been a little bit more. We would have had 9. Oh my gosh! If they moved both from Xandar, they could have used Cerebro buff to buff all of them. No, so if they moved both from Xandar, Spider-Man was prohibiting them from here. And so they had to do the Cerebro 3 buff. Yeah. And so that's why I moved out of Xandar, was to avoid, because I figured they were going to buff their cards here. But the Spider-Man was a little bit more. Ronan was absolutely the play for us. It would have given us 9 power. Oh my gosh, they deserved that win. They ran a Cerebro 3 and a Cerebro 2 deck list, and they won. So Toasty deserved those cubes. Toasty deserved every single one of those cubes. Oh my gosh. It was all part of the plan. That was all calculated. Hey, good game. I was Toasty. Just tuned in, hoping you were alive. Eric, did you realize that Spider-Man got buffed up? The recovery was phenomenal. Wanted to play Cerebro 2, but forgot Spider-Man got buffed. The recovery was phenomenal. That was a fantastic. You deserved every single one of those cubes. Oh my gosh. It was a very good game, Eric. You beat us with a Cerebro 3 list that was running Cerebro 2 cards. I'm very, very impressed. So anyone else just joined pool 3? I'm getting wrecked. So Chauncey, whenever I hit pool 3 with my with Sulky Hulky, the free to play account, I got absolutely dominated. It was incredibly tough. Hey Hey Dark, thank you for subscribing to the YouTube channel. So yeah, I got wrecked for probably the better part of a couple of weeks until I kind of leveled out and got a few more resources at hand. Looks like Q and I have the exact same MR. How many times have you guys matched up, Jeremiah? What do you get above 100 plus? You don't get anything. Right now, there's no incentive to really push higher, other than just playing. Otherwise, you don't get anything additional after you hit infinite. Ooh, that's 3. Ooh, Jeremiah, that's a rough one, because Q is always a strong opponent. You win maybe 10% of games in pool 3. Yeah, so I was going against very structured decks as soon as I hit pool 3, and I thought it was gonna like kind of, I don't know, curve in and be a little bit easier to manage, but it like threw me into the deep end as soon as we hit pool 3, and so I absolutely I was in the same boat. I think we do Jessica Jones instead of Sunspot, Wasp, or Nightcrawler. Maybe we do Jessica Jones and Wasp, because next turn we're going to want to not play a card here. We're going to want to play Iron Man into Onslaught Citadel as our like big power push. And then on turn 6, we're going to trade cards, and so Sunspot and Nightcrawler are going to be pretty impactful for them on that last turn. Although Soul Knife won both matches so far. Oh man, the Omega Red is scary. The Omega Red with a Brood. What are these decks today? We may lose to the Omega Red here, because I think they might play an Iron Man, but if we don't give them very good resources to fill up the rest of the lane, maybe we can sneak it out. I think Iron Man is really our only chance here. The Omega Red is very, very scary, especially into Onslaught Citadel. So they have the Iron Man, so we have to try to keep them from winning that location. We have to win that one to win the game, actually, unless we decide to compete for Nidavellir. It just depends on what they send us. And maybe they forgot that we're switching hands. So maybe they have an Onslaught that we're going to be able to play to capitalize on the Onslaught Citadel. Brood is for Raft, probably. Yeah, the Brood definitely feels like Raft flavor. I think they forgot about the Mindscape. So that was... And the Mindscape has the animation, so you can't really miss it now, but I think they did. The Baron was huge. It blocked their Patriot that was going to go here. So they ran, it was so they had Omega Red, Iron Man, Onslaught, and Patriot. Is that their plan for one of the lanes, and then vanilla tokens in the rest? It's an interesting like combination of decks there. Yeah, he had the 6-cost Patriot, so we did hit the good card with our Baron Mordo. So it feels really... It's hard to know the impact of... Hey, Toasty, it's you again. I hope that you have either shifted to Cerebro 3, or that you took out Spider-Man. Progenito, yeah, we are pretty close to an hour now. So we're getting close to like the end of the stream. Overall we've had a pretty good one, but yeah, Ralph, no more Spider-Woman. It is now the Nick Fury. We had to go with the eye patch flavor. Now that it's not just the hair icon. Oh man, I'll turn off stream. See you soon. Good luck, Eric. I hope that you have. I hope that it's a good game. So now that the hair icon is not just Spider-Woman, or now that it's not just the hair. It lost some of its appeal, and so we did switch over to the eye patch just for the eye patch. Yeah, just for the eye patch flavor. What if he's running Cerebro 6? He could be running Cerebro 6 now. It looks like he moved Spider-Man up to Cerebro 3 potentially, though. What is Wasp for in this deck? So Wasp for this deck is for the Raft. Originally, it was in this deck for the Thor and then Jane Foster to be able to pull it out. But for here, it's just to help cap out the Raft a turn earlier so that we can capitalize on the featured location. Once that goes away, we're going to switch it for either Iceman or Korg, or potentially if we add it back in Jane Foster in replace of like Iron Man, maybe we keep Wasp at that point. Hey, Kraken. Hey, it's me. What took me so long? Yeah, what took you so long? So we have a couple of new emojis for those channel members that are in the stream. We have some puppy emotes. We have the Wong card. We have the Kekyu, which is Pilk's favorite emoji. I think I've seen him use that the most out of any emoji in the game. It feels so Wong to have the Wong emoji, but so right at the same time. So Wakandan Embassy breaks up their Cerebro 3 by quite a bit. Yeah, and we will forever have the Spider-Woman hair to fully appreciate the gloriousness that avatar had and that avatar was. So how much power do we think we need in the raft location? We could do Jessica Jones. We can always push more power with Thor, but that also forces a lot of power over there. If we draw into something like a Ronan next turn, that's actually pretty big for our Maximus play. And so I think I'm okay capping it out with how much power potential we have and the ability to gain additional power over time. And so if they don't cap it out this turn, then we get an additional free 6-cost card over them. You think Jessica Jones? Yeah, I like the Jessica Jones play line. It pushes a lot of power. It does help us cap it out. And then we still have a pretty big power push in the other lanes as well. Yeah, that top deck of the Mjolnir was pretty big. Kind of ironic that Nick Fury is bald. I know. We're like a young Nick Fury that already lost his eye though. That's what I have to believe in. So Wakandan Embassy was tough for their Cerebro deck. They do have some pretty decent power. If they hit a Cerebro, it'll buff these 2 cards. I think we now throw in a Scorpion to kind of disrupt them a little bit. Do we throw in a Scorpion and go ahead and do the Maximus? Or maybe we go with a Bishop and a Scorpion. That way they don't have additional resources. You have a ton of power in hand. I'd snap. Yep. I was after I figured out the play line and the fact that Wakandan Embassy breaks up their Cerebro combo and then Scorpion's going to break it up even further. It's gonna be huge. I was playing this deck and got a 0-cost Onslaught to use with my Ronan. Oh my gosh, that's huge. That's huge, Pilk. Ronan can be a huge game changer now. Before he felt pretty lackluster because he was just in line with the Devil Dino, but now he feels like he can be absolutely huge. And so they did extend the game with magic. I'm glad that we didn't. I guess Nicholas Maximus could have been the flavor. Maximus and then Scorpion. That would have forced them to draw into 2 more cards, and it would have been -1, so they would have went down to either probably 2 cost or 2 power. Toasty's not going down without a fight. He's committed. He's committed into this match. So we have 4 cards left. One is Iron Man, one is Ronan. So we have 2 really good targets to draw into. I think we may be okay to drop Maximus this turn. It may allow them to elevate their power here, but I think we are going to drop Maximus. I'm also going to drop Nightcrawler into Limbo just in case we need to shift that power. Ooh, no, let's keep Nightcrawler off the board. If we draw into Ronan next turn, we can do an Apocalypse, a Mjolnir, and a Ronan. I think Nightcrawler just floods the board a little bit too much. Just chill and buff Sunspot. Is that the play line we should go with, Jeremiah? Or I guess the rest of the chat too. So if we do Maximus, that pushes a lot of power, but I think we can easily outpower Cerebro deck even without the Maximus in mid. This would allow us to further the left-handed side, and it doesn't give them any free resources, which could potentially give them the game-winning play line. Don't give them a card. Yeah. I hate this new meta now because I don't have Maximus. I don't think Maximus is like absolutely required in all of it, but I think he is really, really strong. Why do we have the timer? The red border is a little bit intimidating. Actually, no, I think we reverse the order of these. And so we're going to be able to buff up Mjolnir. We're going to be able to buff up Thor and Sunspot just a little bit. So Cerebro comes down. It adds 4 power. We're going to add 6 power over here. Even if they have the Cerebro and Mystique combo, that's going to add 8 power, which pushes them 28. We still come up over them. The Ronan should be huge. I think this should be an easy win. But then again, we lost to a Cerebro 2 deck that was running Cerebro 3, so it can happen. I don't want to get too complacent either. We should win, but that may not always be the case. And so the Mystique to copy the Blue Marvel, interesting. And then does it go Cerebro after that? Would that be better than the Cerebro into the Mystique, though? Does that give them more overall power? I guess it gives all of the cards, even if they're not getting Cerebro buffed, an additional power point. They came pretty close in the left-hand side, and actually pretty close in mid, too. Like, for what should have been an easy win, that was really, really close. I actually think the Mystique into the Blue Marvel was a little bit better than Cerebro and then copying Cerebro with Mystique. So it was a really good play line. And so when he jumps back in, Maximus was a better play than Ronan to get the additional 9 power, especially since it was turn 7. 9 power, we knew that they only had, it was 3 or 4 cards in hand. So most likely, nice 0. I mean, Ronan is the heavy hitter here. He's carrying the game at 0 power. Like that, it's just the intimidation factor. Christy, so for some reason the subs aren't, at least the sub counter on the stream elements isn't updating correctly. And so we are well above 3,000. I need to update it. Or like manually refresh it, but for some reason it doesn't catch all of the subs that come in, only the ones that are made public, and so it doesn't catch all of them. I have to update it pretty consistently, but it's been a little bit. And so for anyone here, we do have over 3,000 subs. We did hit that 3,000 sub goal, and I think we are just a little bit over an hour. This may end up being the last game, so we want to make this one a good one. I do need to keep an eye out for potential bad Ronan plays where Maximus would end up being better. No one can Conan the Bronin Ronan. Oh, I think that was the first time I've had a 0 cost Ronan, or a 0 power Ronan. Any sub for Thor and Baron, I don't have them yet. I think any other like aggro style card would be okay in the Baron Mordo and Thor slot. I don't think they are necessarily the only game changers or game winners. I think one of the biggest power plays is your Maximus right after a Ronan, and so maybe something like a Wolfsbane. I need to play here. Let's go with the Bishop and the Thor to see if they stack their cards over into the raft or not. We do want to try and cap it out. And so maybe something like a Wolfsbane to allow a follow-up play with a Maximus, or maybe even a Mystique to really high roll on your 0 power Ronans. That could be the play as well. So I think we're going to do a Baron Mordo here, so that we get the 6 cost card. They're probably going to cap this one out as well. But our cards can grow over time, so we may still be able to outpower them even with the Mojo play here. 2 ongoing cards, we may look out for a potential late game Spectrum, but that's something that we want to calculate in and trying to figure out. We got Infinite again. That is huge. Is that 2 out of 3 for this game that we've pulled Infinite? Hopefully they draw a 6 cost rock. That would be the ideal play, or the ideal play line. So I think we win. I think we lose the raft, but we have Ronan, we have Maximus, and we have Infinite. I think this should be an easy snap. Could do Maximus, they might just get rocks. So I think we skip turn 4. That allows us to drop Ronan on 5. Oh, well. So we had a really big power play with the Infinite, the Ronan, and then maxing it and finishing it off with Maximus. We could even do like an Angela and a Maximus, and potentially a Wasp or a Mjolnir to really push a lot of power into both of these lanes. It was that 6 cost rock that did it. That 6 cost rock forced them into submission. They heard about the magical power of the 0 power Ronan. He's just intimidating. That's just that intimidation factor. So I am going to do, I know that I said that may be the last one. We're going to do one more. I don't want to end on a one cube retreat, if I can help it, before I jump back over into work mode. It was too heavy for him to continue. He just couldn't push on. Ooh, so we have Subterranea right off the bat. Here again at 3 a.m. Haki, thank you so much for being here. I know that it's incredibly early or late, depending on if you've slept yet or not. So I appreciate you being here and just checking in and tuning into the stream. And then Harry, one more time, Copium. That is my downfall. It's always just one more game, and then it's, well, that one didn't feel like a finisher. We want something that feels like a finisher. No sleep. I'd rather watch the stream. Okay, well, I mean I appreciate it. Definitely make sure that you get plenty of sleep where you can, but I appreciate you being here to catch the stream. We do only have a couple more. Only have a couple more games potentially. We have the massive rocks. Bane of Surtur is always a pretty strong opponent. He always has pretty well thought out decks. So the Ronan early feels a little bit bad. Cue the final boss. Cue the boss rush. I think this one should be a retreat. We have so many rocks. Two of our draws after getting Subterranean were rocks. We're positive enough that I am gonna go ahead and play it out. I'm gonna drop Iron Man first though. I don't want to give away the fact that we have Ronan. Yeah, he snapped. So it's gonna be pretty bad. But I think we drop Ronan or Iron Man instead of Ronan. Run away and then one more. Is that what we should do? Should we retreat or let it play out? Yeah, let's go for a better one. We're gonna retreat. We didn't have a great play line, so the retreat is the right play. I was just going to end up sticking out and probably losing additional cubes. And so let's go ahead and retreat, and then this will be the last one. Iron Man and Double Rock to assert the dominance, just to show that we mean business. We're ready to rock. They're not going to be able to stand up. One more game times 2. If somebody was to count how many times I was like, just one more game, I'm sure it would most of the time be between like 5 and 10. I gotta go. It's 10:30 p.m. for me. Addy, thank you so much for joining us for the stream. I hope you have a great rest of your evening, and I hope that you get you catch some sleep. So we'll catch you either on tomorrow's video or tomorrow's stream. So let's go with the Angela into Baxter Building. We don't have any other 2 costs. Otherwise, we would prioritize that. But I think into Baxter Building, it's okay. We can follow up with but I'm enjoying TLSG. It's so funny, Doma. I know. I think that shows that I have a problem. I just want to keep. It's hard to pull myself away, especially whenever we're streaming. I enjoy interacting with you guys and just playing as much as we can. And so with the stream, it always feels difficult to end it. Yeah, I'm Gabriel. I'm glad that they have new emotes as well. You can't really see them too well currently because of the way that the screen is set up. But once we have the PC client, I think it's going to be really, really big. I think it's going to look a lot more aesthetically pleasing. I can use the fist bump emote in the end to communicate GG. Yeah, I think you can communicate a lot more than, like, is it a passive-aggressive thumbs up? Is it a passive-aggressive snap? Like, you can start reading into those. I think the fist bump, I really like the Spider-Man pointing at the other Spider-Man. I feel like it's, I don't know. I just enjoy that they played on that meme of the Spider-Mans pointing at each other. So I'm thinking Jessica Jones into Baxter Building. Otherwise, it would be something like a Ronan into Baxter Building next turn, which could end up being more power overall. Maybe we do that. Maybe we play Jessica Jones into Kunlun, we save space for our Ronan, and then we can do Maximus to make sure that we win Baxter Building on that last turn. I think that's what we go with. Yeah, the fist bump means GG. And then Rando, we need to grow your channel so you can do it full time. I would absolutely love that if that was ever a possibility. It's not something that I just absolutely. I honestly don't expect it to get to that point. But if it ever does, where I have that possibility, that would absolutely be a dream. And so if it ever does, then we'll be there. And if not, then we'll enjoy the ride while we have it. I use a Spider-Man emote when I play the same card as my opponent. Yeah, that way it's like, you played it too? Yeah, I do like the Spider-Man emote for that. Or if they're like playing like the same kind of deck, you can do that to communicate a lot of like funny type things. So the Maximus isn't terrible here. So we can actually push quite a bit of power into the big house. That's not how I want to end it, but it is how we are going to end it. I do have to jump back into work mode, but that one was a retreat. We did have it locked down. That is a huge power push into the big house, especially when they're trying to commit power to overcome the big 11 power in Kunlun or the potential 24 power in Baxter Building. we can't have one more games. We do have to end it. So you need a one more game emote. Yeah, I think we could do maybe like a one more. I think that would be like small enough text that it would fit into an emoji, kind of like the oh no. I think we could fit like one more into like a similar style, maybe rotate it the other way in like a comic book text kind of bubble or background. It's nice to see a positive stream today. Yeah, I've been really enjoying this deck list for ever since the patch. So with the video this morning, I went 7-0, even against some really tough games. And then today, I think we only dropped maybe 2 or 3. A couple of them were our fault, but overall, I've been really enjoying this deck list. I think it's pretty solid. And it's especially in the midst of like the uncertainty of like what's going to be good and what's not. I think aggro is always a safe bet to kind of start out a patch and then fill out what is strong and what combos are really going to rule the meta. So I think these cards have been buffed solidly. I've been doing well with them myself. Yeah, so Ronan, absolutely huge. I'm not sure how I feel about the Thor overall. Drawing into Mjolnir naturally when I've been spoiled with drawing into it with a Jane Foster feels a little bit, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I wasted a draw at that point. But we are going to go ahead and end the video. Thank you guys for being here, for checking out all of the videos, just for all of the support that you guys have given me. I appreciate it. I know that I say it a whole bunch, but I appreciate each and every one of you for coming back and checking out the stream time and time again. I hope that you all have a great rest of the day. This has been TLSG. Later, guys.